Now on BBC One Inside Out with more surprising stories from where you live.
Hello, tonight Inside Out is in Leicester to ask what's it like when you're over 50 and you lose your job.
It's not pleasant, it's not what I would have expected, it's not what I want. The trickiest part is not knowing when the job, because there will be a job, but not knowing when it's going to come.
Also tonight, inside the head of a suicide bomber, the book attempting to imagine the unimaginable.
What they did was unforgivable, but I don't think it was wrong that this book was written at all.
And the artist who said no to the Nazis, the story of a giant jigsaw puzzle and a remarkable escape. With surprising stories from where we live, I'm Mari Ashby and this is Inside Out for the East Midlands. Unemployment has now passed the 2.5 million mark, with fears of yet worse to come. While a political hot potato is youth unemployment, a huge number of those out of work are over 50 and back on the jobs market for the first time in years. While with prospects bleak, more over 50s than ever before are setting up businesses themselves. Sarah Teal's been investigating.
It's been a year where workers have united in protests over tough public sector cuts,
pay cuts of 25% or more. We know of people,
and over big firms making huge redundancies. It's left more people out of work, all chasing fewer and fewer jobs. And if you're over 50, your prospects aren't good.
What we see in some areas of the country is that you've probably more chance of dying than getting another job if you're over 50. It's frightening.
Britain has a growing army of middle-aged unemployed, facing money worries and rejection letters after a lifetime at work.
In my job, I'd been earning £30,000 a year, and then to go virtually overnight onto job seekers allowance, which was £65 a week, that was a big shock.
The over 50s are less likely than any other age group to find another job, but flying in the face of the harsh statistics are a new breed of olderpreneurs.
I went from absolutely nothing to couldn't see no future at all, no hope, no job, to literally flying high.
Val Charman from Colville in Leicestershire worked in telemarketing for 20 years before being made redundant. At the age of 56, she found herself job hunting again.
Come on, chaps. I even applied for factory work, anything that was local, that I thought, well, I could do that. I thought I'll work nights, I don't care what the hours are, what the work is. There was a job in a meat factory, which, I'm vegan, so... But I thought, well, I'll try. But I didn't get anything.
What does that do for your self-esteem when you're going for jobs and not getting them?
It totally destroys your self-esteem. You feel demoralised, you feel like you're not good enough. You do keep beating yourself up about it. And it is hard to get back to being confident and feeling good about yourself.
And staying confident is the recipe for eventual success, according to Jonathan Clark. The 54-year-old from Beeston in Nottingham is an interim finance director. He's used to chopping and changing jobs, but he's now been out of work for more than a year.
From the state of the economy, it's perhaps not a shock. It's not pleasant. It's not what I would have expected, it's not what I want. The trickiest part is not knowing when the job, because there will be a job, but not knowing when it's going to come.
A third of over 50s aren't in paid work. Here in the East Midlands, some 16,000 are claiming job seekers allowance. That's risen 11% in the last year, and 40% of those, like Jonathan, are classed as long-term unemployed.
Spend too much time
The ups and downs of job hunting can be a stressful occupation in itself.
I then have a section purely
Jonathan
on networking,
spends hours every single day scanning vacancies, applying for jobs and networking with contacts.
It's so time consuming, this. It's like a full-time job in itself, is it?
Yes. People say you should try to get a new job by doing it as a job.
While the jobless figures are soaring, many over 50s are taking control of their own future. The number of businesses started up by the over 50s is really taking off. Dave Buck from Bolsover in Derbyshire is 57. He was a fitness instructor for 13 years until his knees gave out. Overnight, he found himself out of work and disabled.
You honestly thought you had no chance? You didn't think you'd get a job?
No. And I just all I could see was a lifetime on benefits. I couldn't see anywhere to go. Having no possible view of anywhere in the job market where I could get a job with my disability and what I wanted to do.
Rather than accept handouts, Dave decided to set up a microlight flying school at Sheffield Aero Club in North Nottinghamshire. A fifth of working over 50s are self-employed, and surprisingly, this is where they have the advantage over their younger rivals.
People who set up business in their 50s are much more likely to succeed than people who set up business in their 20s or 30s. Why do you think that is?
We're low risk taking. We're not bigger gamble. We've done the risk when we were younger, so we know what pitfalls there could be. So being 50 and 54, we've got that experience behind us, and we're not going to jump into it and throw money away. We're going to be very frugal where we put the money so we can get back the investment. I think that's where people at 50 have got the edge over the younger ones. Because the younger ones will just jump in and have a go, whereas at older age we've got to take it careful because we've only got a finite amount of funds and money left.
After Val Charman's soul-destroying experience searching for a job, she too decided to take the plunge. She set up 3 small businesses: marketing, raw food recipes and making coats and beds for greyhounds.
Talk me through the emotions that you go through when you decide to set your own business up.
Fear, but also excitement. It's really exciting. You're doing what you love. You've got lots of opportunities. It's so nice to have the freedom to do what I want, when I want.
Hello, you must be new.
Hi Val, nice to meet you. Thanks very much for inviting me.
She's one of a growing number of so-called silver starters, and today she's talking through her business plans with Nick Bunting, the chief executive of the Prince's Initiative for Mature Enterprise. The charity is the only national organisation dedicated to promoting 50-plus self-employment and enterprise.
I think we see more of the over 50s turning to look at self-employment as being an option because the employment market is what it is today. And what we see is that when somebody starts their own business, it creates a network of people, it creates a micro supply chain. So there's lots of added value to older people starting their own business, and it creates role models for other people.
Jonathan, good to see you again. How are you?
Not bad.
Let's go.
Today, Jonathan Clark, who's been job hunting for over a year, is meeting recruitment consultant Simon Gray.
The level Jonathan's at in terms of his career, he's a very, very experienced finance director. And unfortunately at the moment, there's not lots of jobs for very experienced finance directors, but there are lots of experienced candidates out there looking. I would summarise the businesses you've worked in, perhaps not by name, but perhaps by sector and size. There's 2 types of CV.
The real message is to stay active, still continue to network, but I do remain optimistic that at some point I will secure the proper full-time job which will set me off again for another few months.
Good to see you again.
So what should Jonathan and others like him be doing to get back into work?
Stay positive, be proactive, get out there, get networking, get marketing yourself and get the best advice in terms of your CV and also your interview technique.
And there will be obstacles coming along, and that the hand isn't out there to provide you with everything you need, but certainly with your own strength and willpower, you'll succeed.
And proof of that comes from Dave and Val, who have turned their lives around.
The world's my oyster, as they say, so a difference a year makes is just amazing. Great.
How would you describe this whole experience of setting up by yourself and going alone?
Oh, from having absolutely nothing to flying high. I mean, literally flying high. I can see me doing this for the next 10 years now. What more can I ask for?
Best thing you've ever done?
Oh yeah, by far.
Stunning, isn't it? Next tonight, though, the number of over 50s out of work in the East Midlands has risen by 11% in a year. As some claim we are already back in recession.
Some of those are finding themselves back in a challenging jobs market for the first time in years. So what is the reality of being over 50 and unemployed? Sarah Teal has this report.
The headlines are grabbed by youth unemployment and the struggle young people have to get their first job. But at the other end of the career ladder, there are problems too. Unemployment in the over 50s is rising steadily, and they find it harder than any other age group to get back into work.
What we see in some areas of the country is that you've probably more chance of dying than getting another job if you're over 50.
That's an astonishing statistic.
It's frightening.
Come on now, come on in.
Val Charman from Colville in Leicestershire found herself back on the jobs market at the age of 56 after working in telemarketing for 2 decades.
Come on, chaps.
I even applied for factory work, anything that was local that I thought, well, I could do that. I thought I'll work nights, I don't care what the hours are, what the work is. There was a job in a meat factory, which, I'm vegan, so... But I thought, well, I'll try. But I didn't get anything.
34% of over 50s aren't in any paid work, compared with 20% for the under 50s. Here in the East Midlands, some 16,000 over 50s are claiming job seekers allowance. That's a rise of 11% on last year's figures.
Finance Director Jonathan Clark from Beeston in Nottingham has been out of work for more than 12 months.
How hard have you found the last year?
It has been a shock that it's been as long as 12 months already, and how long it's going to be, I don't really know. It's not pleasant, it's not what I would have expected, it's not what I want.
And finding another job is almost as time-consuming as a full-time job.
People say you should try to get a new job by doing it as a job.
Today, the 54-year-old is seeing recruitment consultant Simon Gray.
There's perhaps less demand from employers and there's more candidates on the market. The best advice I can give Jonathan or any candidate out there looking is to stay positive, be proactive, get out there, get networking, get marketing yourself, and get the best advice in terms of your CV and also your interview technique.
And tomorrow night on East Midlands Today, we'll be finding out how Val Charman turned her fortunes around and why the number of over 50s going into business for themselves is really taking off. Sarah Teal, East Midlands Today.
Well, if you can't wait until tomorrow, you can see more on over 50s and out of work. That's on Inside Out tonight on BBC One at 7:30.